It is June 25th, 2019. Man, this year is flying by. Summertime now, having to deal with the kids. What the heck? Year-round school, I'm telling you. That's what we need. All right. As we're good, we're hearing me, we're okay. Last week, we talked about performance mode in Campaign Builder and talked about how to read the reports that are delivered and created when you use campaigns. And we touched on this sidebar here, the tracking section. This thing opens and closes. This is available to pro users. So this video is going to be primarily targeted towards pro users, but really everybody should be doing this. I take that last thing back. Everybody needs to be doing what I'm about to tell you. This feature right here is for pro users, but there are a lot of uses for using UTM variables. That's what we're going to talk about today. What are UTM variables? How do you use them, and why would you use them? So, I said we would talk about this because I wasn't sure that we had a video about this. I know we have some resources. In fact, here is a good resource on the subject. It's in our on our marketing blog, and I will link to this. Maybe we can just link to it in the comments here, so you can see this. So we have a bunch of other resources too. How this works is explained in our knowledge base, but I don't believe that we have a video about it. I just want to kind of walk through it. It shouldn't take too long, but I want to make sure that we understand what this stuff is and that you're doing this religiously, whether you're an Ontraport user or not, because it really matters. So let's start at the top. What is a UTM variable? UTM variable, I think it stands for, it's like really old school, something like Urchin Tracking Module or something like that. It comes from a company called Urchin Analytics that was purchased by Google, I want to say a long time ago, in 2004 or 5. And that company became what is today Google Analytics. And so this stuff dates back, way back to them. And so this is now Google's tool, and they kind of, are the ones that are driving the way that marketers are meant to track their marketing. So UTM variables are used to track where your people are coming from, so that you can then see what's working and what's not to drive traffic and ideally sales and referrals to your business, okay? Crucial, obviously, if you are in business, to know what's working and what's not. Even more crucial to know what's working and what's not if you're spending money on ads, right? If you're spending money on ads on Facebook or Google or YouTube or Instagram or anywhere else, and you're not using UTM variables, you are definitely blowing it. So, because you'll find that you're going to put out 10 different ads, and 9 of them are not going to work very well. But if you don't know, if you just get some traffic and get some sales, you're going to keep spending money on those 9 ads that aren't working, when you could be cutting that budget and moving that budget over to the one ad that is working. And that process of watching what's working, figuring out where your best leads and sales are coming from, and not spending money on the stuff that doesn't work, which is most things, and moving that budget to the stuff that does work, which is a few rare finds. That is the process of marketing. If you're not doing that, you're definitely going to lose. So you need to be doing this. And the way it's done is online is UTM tracking variables. So how does this work? How it works is that whenever you post a link to your website or your landing pages or whatever it is, you want to add a little series of tracking tags, we'll call it for now. They're variables, UTM variables, to the end of your URL, and I'm going to show you in a minute how to do that. And I'll explain what the various tags are. And how it works is that when you land, when your visitor lands on the page that you sent them to, your website, your landing page, whatever it might be, you want to have, and if you're an Ontraport customer, you do have a system in place that looks at those variables and records them into some platform, right? And then takes that information and is able to show you some data about where people have come from and ideally what they did next, right? So the two platforms that we're gonna mention today, obviously one is Ontraport, which does a good job of capturing this stuff, and then the other one is Google Analytics, which you should also be using. Ontraport is definitely not a replacement or a competitor with Google Analytics. So it's free. You definitely should be using it. Go watch a little course if you don't already know how to use Google Analytics. It just takes a little script, just like the Ontraport tracking script that you may have put on your website. Google has a little tracking script. You put it on every one of your landing pages, all the pages on your website. And what Google then does, and what Ontraport does, is that we automatically, when a visitor comes to your page, we look at that URL and we say, oh, somebody just visited from Facebook or from this campaign, or somebody just clicked on this ad. And we'll talk about exactly how we determine that in a second. And so we can show you that information. More people visited, right? More importantly, you want to have a system that tells you if somebody fills out your form, or buys a product, which ad or campaign or media source did they come from, right? Did they come from Google? Did they come from Facebook? Did they come from YouTube? What the heck? And ideally, you want to have that data recorded right into the contact record. The reason for that is that a lot of people don't purchase your products immediately, right? So it's good to know how many people are coming from a particular traffic source. It's better to know how many people are coming from a traffic source and fill out your form. It's much better, though, to know how many people are coming from a particular traffic source and fill out your form, and then also buy your products, right? And even if that purchase happens down the road, maybe it happens a month later, you still want to know that these buyers came from that ad, because that ad is working and maybe you need to spend more money on it. So it's worthwhile to have a platform that manages your data that can capture that information. The good thing about Ontraport, of course, is that it handles all that for you. Google Analytics can handle some of that for you. And the more sophisticated you get with Google Analytics, the more it can handle for you. But at the end of the day, Google Analytics doesn't have the names of your customers, right? It is not your CRM system. So it's telling you about stuff that's happening in aggregate, but it's not, going to tell you that, Jane Doe here 6 months ago came from this particular ad, and look at that, here she is buying your product, and she's buying it again, and she stayed as a customer for 6 months, and then she referred to people. Wouldn't it be great if you could find out which set of ads, for example, created the most referrers? That would be valuable, and with Ontraport that is really easy. So I'm going to talk about how we store that data, how the data gets into Ontraport, and how we store it. I'm going to show it to you in a contact record. And then I'm going to show you how we create that data. All right. So let's look at, just incidentally, this here is our blog post. Again, we will post this. But this is a good explanation of how to build these links. And yeah, so that's, if you miss anything here, that'll show you how to do that. So let's go back to just a contact record, any old contact record. Actually, yeah, that's good. Let's just go, no, let's not go to that one. Let's go to, I don't know, this one here. Okay. So what do we have? We have a contact record. In your contact records, if you have, okay, hold on, let me just go back again. If you have turned on tracking in your administration account, so go to Advanced Features and turn this tracking thing on if you haven't done that already. So you'll turn that tracking on, and then what happens is some fields appear in your contact record. So, so we'll just go here and we'll look down, scroll down into this lead information section. You can always move these around if you want them somewhere else, but I think they'll appear here in your lead information section. And what you're gonna see is it's a bunch of fields. It's about 10 fields, and they're called first campaign, first lead source, first medium, first content, first term, and then last campaign, last lead source, last content, last medium, last term. I believe referring page is already in your account when you start up. If not, maybe that does get added when you add tracking. I'm not sure. But let's talk about this. So what happens? So first of all, there's two sets here, the first set and the last set. And we'll talk about what that means in a second. But what happens is, again, you're going to have let me just give you an example here. Okay, here's an example. Copy. Now, here's a link that we might put on a Facebook ad when we do our advertising on Facebook, okay? And what does it say? It says UTM source is Facebook, UTM medium is post. This is just how our team has put it together. So this is like a boosted post or a sponsored post. I don't know, maybe this is a sponsored post versus a boosted post. You get to make up these terms as you like. I don't know exactly what this means, but I'm sure our marketing team does. UTM campaign equals email marketing. So this campaign that the ad was about, hey, come to Ontraport for email marketing. Or actually the email marketing book. I don't know what that even is, but maybe we have a campaign about the email marketing book. And then the term was, they used November 1st. I don't know why, but UTM content is download now. So that was the call to action they used. So we'll talk again about how that gets created. But point is that somebody clicks that link, they go to Ontraport, and you'll notice that all that stuff stays in the URL. Okay, our forms, and that is any form that's on an Ontraport page, any Ontraport form that you use that is on any website, those will automatically, in conjunction with our tracking script, you got to have both, the form and the tracking script on your page, will automatically grab that information and store it. As soon as the visit happens, we're going to store that somebody that clicked a link that had all those variables in it. And then when somebody fills out a form, we're going to capture those variables. So actually, just to be specific, what happens is as soon as somebody visits, we cookie that visitor and we say, the first source was Facebook, the medium was a post, the first campaign was email marketing book, the UTM term was November 1, and we put that in their cookie. Okay? And then they may leave, they may come back, whatever it might be. Eventually they'll fill out a form, and when they do, we actually look to that cookie, what's the information in the cookie, and we say, what was the initial ad that brought them to us? And we take that information and we populate it into these fields right here. So, so that is how that works. And you can see here that you can, select Valentine's Day. You can create your own here. Lead sources Facebook. You can just create a new medium. So the medium might be print. Facebook obviously isn't in print, but there you go. And those things will get populated. Now, when they get populated, You've got these other ones here called last campaign, last lead source, last content. Those should also get populated. And the difference is that the first campaign, the first source that we track is always going to be the first source, because the first thing that they clicked that we tracked from them never changes, right? But then that person might go away, and they might be scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or YouTube a few days later, or Google, and they might click another link. And we're going to want to see that they clicked something else. And so we're going to call that the last, as in most recent click, lead source, content, medium, term that they clicked. And so when we track them, say they filled out a form again later, or maybe they purchased a product later. Let's just say, for example, they clicked a Facebook link, they came to your website, they filled out a form to get an ebook, and then they went away. And then a month later, they come to your, they see another ad because you're retargeting them. They click on the ad, they come to your website, and they purchase, right? So what we're going to see in the contact record is the first ebook pitch is going to be in the first term stuff, and then the most recent link that they clicked, all those variables are going to end up in this last term. And every time we track them having clicked a new link that has different UTM variables, we're going to update this because that's the most recent thing that we've tracked them having clicked. That's valuable, right? Because we want to be able to see not only where do the leads come from, but what ultimately gets them to perform the action we want them to perform, which might be get a demo, or might be purchase a product, or might be refer a friend, right? This is insight that you're not going to be able to get from systems that don't store this way and allow you to report on your UTM variables based on goals in a campaign, right? Because you might see the purchase was created or whatever based on this last variable, but the purchase is just one goal that you might have for that customer. You might have a previous goal, which is a demo, then you have a purchase goal, then maybe you have another goal, which is that they buy again, or that they buy the next level up product, and maybe you have a further goal, which is that they refer a friend or another friend. And you want to know what's working to drive those further actions. And this last campaign functionality is how we do that. So just to be real clear, if you're using Ontraport Pages, or you're using PilotPress on your WordPress site, then our tracking script is automatically on the page for you. So all you need to do is use an Ontraport form. Of course, on Ontraport Pages, the built-in form system is what I'm talking about. If you're using WordPress, you use Ontraport Forms or embed a form. If you use an Ontraport form and the tracking script is on your page, this is going to all happen automatically. There's nothing else you need to do. If you use another third-party site, or you don't have PilotPress installed on your WordPress site, you have a tracking script that you do need to implement, and you can get that here. Where is it? Get tracking code, and here's the script. And this, don't copy mine. It's going to be unique to you. So get this in. It looks like it's in developer preferences and resources. You get that, and then you put that after the body tag on your web page. Your developer will know what to do, or if you're using a CMS, it probably has a way to do that. You don't need to do that if you, again, don't do that if you're using Ontraport Pages. You don't want it on there twice. But if you're using a third-party site, you do need to add that and use our forms. Okay, now let's talk about naming conventions. What do these things even mean, right? Well, how to format your UTM variables. This is back in this blog post. Campaign. Campaign is the main offer. Like, what is it that you're pitching, right? You may be pitching a particular type of service. Or in our case, we use campaign because at Ontraport, obviously, we have a bunch of different problems that we solve, right? If you go to our website, you look at under the Solutions tab, and we probably have campaigns for every one of these, 10 different sort of sections here, right? Marketing automation, email marketing, landing pages, analytics, membership sites. So we have ads out there for all those different things, and we want to know which one of these campaigns is driving not just the most traffic, because it's very common to drive a lot of traffic, but have that be bad traffic that never buys, right? We also want to know which one drives the most leads, but it's also common to get a lot of leads and not get a lot of sales. So ultimately, what we want at the end of the day is to know which one of these campaigns, which one of these problems that we solve drives the most traffic that of people that buy and people that stick around, right? It's not enough to just purchase or sign up for a free trial. We want people that stick around for a while. So that's how we measure our marketing. We do that using campaign reporting that I showed you in the video last week. So you look at that, how to use campaign reporting to report on this stuff. Okay, so that's what the campaign is. It's like the main thing you're promoting. Now the lead source is, where is this traffic coming from? So you might have 3 different campaigns, as we do, right? We have all these different campaigns, and we have them all probably on Facebook, and we have them all again on Google, and who knows where else we have them. We have this stuff everywhere. So we need to know for sure that Facebook traffic is driving more leads, but gosh, Google leads they're fewer, but they're better buyers. That's really important information. So lead source you want to use as the place, the kind of the site or the place that the traffic is coming from. Now, the medium is typically used to talk about the kind of traffic it is, right? So you might have print media. You might have a pay-per-click versus a retargeting ad. If you're on Google, for example, we would definitely have medium be pay-per-click versus retargeting would be a different medium for us. On Facebook, I would suspect that sponsored posts and boosted posts would be 2 different mediums, because there are different kinds of ways of advertising on Facebook. Certainly, if we were doing video inside the little video ads that they do, that would be another medium on Facebook. All right, that hopefully is clear. Content. This is typically about the particular content of the ad. So again, going back to our own example, we certainly have not just a particular ad that we're running on Google about marketing automation, but we probably have 50 of them. And some of the ads say, get a free trial. And some of the ads might say, automate your business. And some of the ads might say, award-winning software or whatever. So we want to know, which ad we're talking about, right? And that is what you would put in the content. For us, some of these people, you can put your call to action, all this stuff. You can do it however you want. But I'm just explaining to you the traditional way that this is done. And then lastly, the term. So this is usually used to identify the audience that you're targeting. So, and the reason the word term is used is because, again, this is all made up by Google, and it was designed as a tool to track Google AdWords. And on Google AdWords, as you know, you bid on keyword terms. So for example, we might bid on email marketing, or we might bid on marketing automation, or we might bid on landing pages, or we might bid on CRM. And those are what we would put as the term that drove this person to see this ad, to then click the ad, to then come to our website, right? Blah, 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 blah. And on Facebook, we use the term to talk about the audience. So if it's, everybody who subscribes to Entrepreneur Magazine, or everybody, we name our audiences, because it might be, we might get really specific. Everybody who subscribes to Entrepreneur, but and is over 50 and whatever it might be. We name that audience, and we would put that audience in the term variable. Okay, so that's how we use those things. And then lastly, just to be clear about how to build these links, it's really pretty easy. All you do is at the end of your website, you can put, the slash actually is optional right there, but this question mark, you need to have the question mark. You just put question mark. And then it's usually all lowercase. Our example doesn't have lower cases here, but you want to make sure that you get your casing right, because some of the platforms will count, capital F Facebook differently than lowercase f Facebook. So best practice is to just use lower cases for everything. The other thing too here is that you don't want star 20 in here. That's that is the kind of the HTML UTF-8 character for space, but you don't want that in there. So I'd use underscores is the typical thing to use between words. So here's how you do it. It's UTM underscore source. Again, you don't need to take notes. This is all in documentation all over the internet. This is not special for us. It's exactly the same way you do it for Google Analytics, and there's nothing else you need to do. Google Analytics, the little script you put on your website, is going to grab these same variables on that same URL. So you don't need to do it twice or anything. Everybody uses the same format, right? Because we all do what we're told by Google. So UTM underscore source equals Facebook, and you separate these things by ands, the and symbol, and UTM medium equals whatever, and UTM campaign underscore campaign. Note that there's an underscore in there. UTM underscore campaign equals whatever you want to put here, email marketing, and that's how you do it. Note that you don't have to use all of these. Typically, at least people are using campaign medium source, but there you have it. We tend to use all of them. There also, I do believe, is, was there a URL? Yeah, we made this little URL builder before you. This literally doesn't do anything except build the URL for you to copy. So you can just use this thing. This is, again, it's in Pro. This gets turned on when you turn on tracking. If you're a Pro user, go to URL history, click new tracking URL, and just type in your website, http://www.ontraport.com, your site, not mine. And then you select whatever you want here. Source is ad roll. Medium is whatever, pay-per-click, content is content, and term is chocolate lovers, and then it creates the URL, and boom, we just created it for you. And you just copy to clipboard, and then you take that and you put it in your ad on ad roll, whatever. So that's just a handy little thing that we will do for you there. Note, do this on your social media posts. There's no reason not to. If you're posting stuff to social media that's in support of your business, you want to know what your audience is interested in, right? Which one of your posts is working. Do it on the links in your blog. Literally, you're spending time, even if you're not spending money, you're spending time promoting your business online, and time is money, right? So you need to be figuring out which one of your investments are working, which ones aren't, and the way you do that is adding UTM variables to your marketing materials, whether they're ads or not. Do it every single time. So that is that. How this ends up showing up, I'm not going to get into this because I did it in the last week's video, but how this ends up showing up is, apart from just in the contact records themselves, what ends up happening here is you're able to see on a goal-by-goal basis which one of these lead sources or campaigns or mediums actually caused these goals to happen. What is the last? So this now says which medium did the contacts on this map last click before they achieved the selected goal. So that's really cool because you can select filled out a form. You can create a goal that says they had a demo request, a goal that says they purchased a product, a goal that says they referred a friend. And you can look visually and see which one, they'll show up here. There's none in this case, but you can see visually. You can see visually here. Campaigns, there we go. You can see visually what is driving the what is driving the activity that you're wanting to track. It's about the easiest way you can possibly do this, to see it on a map like this. So you just create these campaigns in advance. Again, watch the video from last week. You'll understand all about performance mode. But it was important that we make sure we cover UTM variables. Obviously, for some of you, you've already turned this video off because you know all this stuff. But if you're not doing this, that's how. And this is why. If you ever need more information, there's this little site called Google, and you just type in, how do I use UTM variables? And lo and behold, there will be 10 million articles that explain exactly how to do that. Here's Neil Patel's Ultimate Guide to Using UTM Parameters. He's going to explain it about Google Analytics, because again, that is who originated this system, but it's the exact same thing. You do what he's telling you to do here, what I just told you to do, and Ontraport will just take that same link and process it in our own way and share that information with you on those campaign records. So it's very, very simple. You just got to do it. All right, that's it for this week. Next week we will talk, I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, but we'll figure it out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.